of personality and Buddhism perspective on personality. So these are all the various personality approaches related to the Eastern approach of personality. Okay. So according to the Hinduism perspective on personality, it is concept of first one is Sadbhavana. So here in this concept of Hinduism perspective of personality, one is karma. We are all based on the our activities, the personality of any person, the behavior of any person, or the person's personification. So this is known as karma, self-knowledge. The goal is life in on one's life is good works, you can say. Hence, the good life in this tradition, so continuously doing good actions. So, if you want to do the good work, so this is known as karma. Then, with the theosophical movement in 19th century, real interest in Eastern thought, including Buddhism, also emerged. We know that in Buddhism, that is 19th century. The Indian authors have always realized that the supreme is the infinite. As we know, as I mentioned in the previous class also, psychology is at least in olden days, psychology is one branch of philosophy. So philosophy is a Indian philosophy, Western philosophy. Indian philosophical movement is a traditional movement compared to the other areas. Okay, Indian philosophical traditions like Vedanta, Samakya, Yoga, Jainism, Buddhism, and many other researchers or scholars in India have attempted to explain these concepts of personality in their own perspective. So here the concept of Swabhava, the concept is very indigenous to the Indian description of personality, and it is temperament. So the Indian psychological thought, the term personality has not been used in strict tense, means it should be like this only, it's not restricted to anyone. It covers all aspects of personality. Swabhava is the essential quality. It is the speed of spirit which manifests the personality of any person. Dharma, according to the Gita, is action governed by Swabhava. So our Swabhava is the main source of Dharma. According to the Gita, is action governed by Swabhava, the essential of one's nature. So, and the Swabhava is at its core to pure quality of spirit. Swabhava is the one important factor of our personality, or you can say conscious will, and its characteristics is force of action. Conscious to do, conscious to will, conscious will. Will seems to be an aspect of the executive part of being. To be the power and active force of the nature. So even in Aurobindo's level of consciousness, according to Aurobindo also, there are some systems, some folds like psychic, inner mind, mental, vital, and physical. So in this levels of consciousness, according to Sri Aurobindo also, so emphasized on the simultaneous activity of the concentric system and the vertical system. He shows the concentric system like a series of rings or shell. So the outermost circle is comprised of awareness of physical body. So here our physical body. And one more thing I want to add here. So hierarchy values and the lower values. Higher values always spiritual values, which is related to our soul. The lower values are related to our physical aspects. So here, even this Upanishads and also Upanishads, as we know, we know the ancient Indian model of personality given in the Upanishad consists of 5 ways. There are Annamaya, that is first one, Pranamaya, second one, Manomaya, third one, Vijnanamaya, that is intellectual, fifth one is Anandamaya. So these Annamaya, it is a segment of human system in nourished by Anna. That means food. Pranamaya is that segment which nourished by prana. That is that we can say it's the unitedness of mind and body. Then manomaya is the segment by education. Then vijnanamaya means that is intellectual, and anandamaya is the anandamaya is related to the emotion. So whether you have the proper 4 steps, the 5th step will be always in this positive emotions like joyfulness or happiness in our life. So this is related to the 5 force, or you can say 5 steps, 5 steps of the Upanishad. Same way in Triguna also, Triguna and personality. The concept of guna back to Atharva Veda. So here there are 3 important things, that is Atharva Veda, so Rigveda, and here one more important thing I want to add here is that the Triguna and its dimension of the Sattvic Guna, that is number 1, Rajasic Guna, number 2, then Tamasic Guna. Is all related to our Indian culture and our tradition. The Sattva Guna, or you can Sattvic Guna, is the spiritual quality, whereas the Rajasic Guna is the active quality. That is, Rajguna is considered to give rise, and you can say improvement, or you can say development. The Tamasic Guna is related to the materialistic quality. So these are all 3 important aspects of this guna, that is Sattvic Guna, Rajasic Guna, and Tamasic Guna. So here in Ayurveda also, in Ayurveda, we know there are 3 doshas. One is Vata, second is Pitta, third is Kapha, okay, or you can say Kapha. So according to the Ayurveda, the human body is, the physical entity is composed to 3 fundamental categories called doshas, or dhatus, and malas. The doshas are 3 number in dhatus. They are, so one is Vata, second is Pitta, third is the Kapha. So here in the personality, as the Sattvika personality, Rajasa personality, Tamasic personality. Sattvic type means the main here in this topic is how your emotions are controlling. The intelligence and imaginations are the defining characteristics of this particular Sattvika. So same way, other aspects of our personality related to the our mind and body. As I mentioned, in Rajasic types of dominated by worthful disposition. The 6 types, again, there are some other types of Tamasic. That is also one important factor of this 3 gunas. So here the final conclusion of this perspective is, when we are focusing on our bodily these needs, or you can say physical needs, so we will have some emotional disturbances. That means in our life we won't have any proper enjoyment. When we are following our that is spiritual entity, spiritual values, so automatically the emotions will be controlled, so that we will have enjoyment, and our life will be lived in a systematic way. So this is one important perspective. Jaina perspective on personality is that according to Jaina, there are again 2 types. One is substantial and materialistic way. So second one is instrumental part, or instrumental factor. One is the material, second is the instrumental part. So here in this Jainism, they believe in the some important, these 4 important aspects of the achievement of metaphysicism. One is planning, making a clear plan on how it can be achieved. So here in Jainism, how you plan, how your plan is, even in our normal life also, when we want to do something, planning is most important thing. So planning is one important thing. The second is the imagination, the key to maintaining plans, a reality, and finding solutions to problems. So how your imagination, whether these imaginations is it possible to do those whatever you are planning? Is it possible to execute that is planning or not? That is also one important aspect in this perspective. Then determination and willpower alone can make ordinary person a great personality. Determination means For example, you have some goals. We need to achieve the goal by determination only. So, important 4 steps to reach the happy life, or you can say these goals in life is: one is planning, second is imagination, third is the determination, fourth is the concentration. That is, see, when we set a goal, when we want to reach that goal, so concentration without any deviation from the path, without any deviation of our goal. So you need to concentrate on a particular aspect. An important milestone of personality development is the concentration. When we have some goals, that is, when we are reaching that goal, when we are focusing on the goal, then only it is possible to reach that goal. There are some other 5 steps to fulfill the goal here according to the Jainism. One is healthy body, then healthy mind. Third one is healthy thoughts. Fourth one is willpower. Fifth one is work effectively or efficiently. I repeat, in Jainism, one is planning. There are 4 steps to achieve goal. One is planning, second is imagination, third is determination, fourth is concentration. So here, to fulfill those personality styles according to Jainism, so healthy personality, a fulfillment in personality. Again, there are 5 steps to fulfill the healthy, or you can say complete personality, or you can say integrated personality. One is healthy body, second is healthy mind, third is healthy thoughts, fourth is willpower, fifth is the work effectively or work efficiency. So we already we know healthy mind in a healthy body. When our physical aspects, when your body is a healthy body, then only it is possible to have healthy mind. That means mental health, physical health and mental health. We know according to the WHO, health is not only physical well-being. It is psychological, emotional, social well-being. So same way here also in the Jainism, first step is healthy body, second is healthy mind, third is healthy thoughts, fourth one is willpower, another one is, last one is work effectively or efficiently. Okay. Then in Buddhism perspective of personality, the Buddhism, again, there are some 7 types of desires here. One is one with a strong tendency for desire, that is important to achieve a healthy life. One with a strong tendency for desire. Second is one with a strong tendency for achieving. One with a strong tendency for ignorance. One with a strong tendency for pride. One with a strong tendency for discursive thoughts. One who is equally all mental affections. One with mental, that is strong, mental strength. According to Buddhism, one is strong tendency for desire. That means whatever you wanted to achieve, desire is the first aspect according to the Buddhism perspective. Second is strong tendency to reach that. Third is strong tendency to achieve. Fourth one is strong tendency for pride. Fifth is strong tendency for thoughtful life. Sixth one is equally affectionate in all other people. Last one is mental, or you can say strong mental health. So here, in Indian culture, another different of the Indian various Indian cultures, all the one important Eastern perspective of personality. So as we already discussed, Personality is related to individuals, physical aspects, psychological, social, including belief system, attitudes, aspirations, interests. So when we are giving the psychological counseling, so we need to observe whether there are any personality issues or not. How can you understand? How can we understand any personality related issues? The personality of any individual, whether it is positive side or negative side, any personality problems, or you can say personality issues, how can you find out? How can we find? By observing the person, number one, by assessing his personality, not only personality, any, for example, if you find any client, any individual, if she or he is not behaving systematically or age appropriate, what to do? By your observation as a psychologist, by your observation as a counselor, by your observation as a therapist, if you observe any deviant behavior or any abnormal behavior, you have so many options to confirm that. Now the topic of our the course is personality. So for example, if you want to confirm any personality problems, we have one test, or you can say assessment test, that is IPDE. That is IPDE means International Personality Disorder Examination. IPDE. That is one tool. Whether it is given in your book or not, I don't know. We have last three chapters, last three units related to the personality. But IPD is one important tool you can use if you observe any personality. If you have any doubt about the client's personality, you better to administer the test. That is IPD. It is a paper pencil test. So in this IPDE, International Personality Disorder Examinations, by doing this IPDE, whether the individual's personality is having any problems, or you can say issues. Again, this personality disorder examination, there are three clusters: cluster A personality disorder, cluster B personality disorder, cluster C personality disorder. There are 57 items will be there in this personality disorder examination, IPDE. By administering the test, by using this particular, as I mentioned, the tool, it is easy to confirm his or her personality. Generally, the personality test or personality examination, personality disorder examination, we do only after certain age. Why? See, in IQ test, in any intelligence test, there are some certain age limitations. Same way, for personality test also, there are some age limitations. Intelligence tests are below the age of 16 or 18 years. Maybe IQ, DQ, SQ test. Generally, IQ, DQ, SQ test, like developmental screening test, Finland's social maturity scale, or Binet Kama test. For these, even Mallin's test also. These tests The maximum age limitations are again 18 years or 16 years. Some cases maximum 21 years. As I mentioned, some 3 or 4 states or tools. Even recently, what are the tests will be invented? Indigenous test, like intelligence test of Indian test of intelligence. In that test also, maximum age is 18 years. Why the age limitations are in any IQ test? Most of the IQ tests, only 1 or 2 tests are even above age also will administer. But these mentioned, I mentioned some 4 or 5 IQ tests. These test maximum limitation, age limitations is up to the 16 or 18, maximum 21 years. The main reason of administering the test for this age limitations only means IQ reaches its peak, its maximum up to the age of 16 or 18 years. That is the reason most of the IQ tests are administered to the age of 16 or 18 years. Even though, for example, if you want to administer the BKT, even though the age of person or individual is 23 or 25 years also, but when we administer this test, we know the formula of IQ is mental age by chronological age into 100. After assessing the mental age, after calculating the mental age, chronological age we need to write. Though the age of the client, though the age of individual is 25 years, but we will consider his chronological age as 18 or 16 years only. Depends on the tool that we are using. Okay, same way now the personality also, personality, we are discussing about the personality test. Personality, as I mentioned, the personality IPD or any other personality test. After 16 or 18 years only, we will administer the personality test, generally after 18 years only. Because personality in initial stage, like 3 years or 5 years or 8 years, we can't say the personality is the fulfilled personality, integrated personality, or reaches its peak. That is the reason in initial stages of personality, initial stages of children, we can't say it's a personality is. So here, so in this perspective of Indian, this, or you can see Eastern type of personality, these are the some perspectives of personality. Okay. So if you want to know about the personality test, so we do one thing. We will directly go to the personality unit, personality test unit, so that it is related to that particular topic. So that is the reason we will continue the personality and personality uh, assessment. Assessment. So here, just one example I'll give you. Assessment in assessment of personality. If you say if it is a word association test or sentence completion test, as I mentioned, some standardized tests are there in this personality. What is standardized test? Standardized test means the test or tool is standardized when it is having reliability, validity, objectivity, and practicability. So any psychological test, that may be personality test, attitude test, intelligence test, aptitude test, attitude, any test, that should be a standardized test. the characteristics of any standardized test, as I mentioned, the characteristics of any standardized test is number one, validity, number two, reliability, number three, objectivity, number four, practicability. So in
Sir, what is number 4?
Yeah.
What is number 4?
Practicability. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You can say it is a characteristics of good tool. Characteristics of any standardized test. Okay. So here also there are some personality types of personality assessment tests, or you can say personality tests. Some are the personality inventories. Personality inventories. In personality inventories means some features of personality inventories. That is, as I mentioned, standardization. First one is standardization. Second one is objective measurement. Whenever you are using any personality inventories, so that should be a objective based, objective measurement. Next one is trait based. Trait based means there are some traits you want to check, you want to test, that should be reflected to those traits. Then multiple dimensions. We are discussing the features of personality inventories. Number one is standardization. Number two is objective measurement. Number three is trait based. Objective based means we are having some objectives of doing the test, using the test. As I mentioned, if you observe any personality issues in this your client, so our objective is to check, to assess the personality of the particular client. For example, if you find any intellectual aspects, any intellectual not age appropriate, his intelligence or her intelligence is not age appropriate. So if it is your observation is that, if your observation is the clients, the persons, the individuals, intellectual aspects are not up to the mark, not age appropriate. Now your objective is to assess his intellectual aspects. In your observation, when you are establishing the rapport in the first or second session of your counseling, if you find any attitudinal issues, if you observe any attitudinal issues in your client, what to do? Our objective is to check his attitude. Like Kristen attitude test. In your psychological counseling, in the first two sessions, or in your when you are establishing your rapport, if we find any issue related to his aptitude, so our objective here is to test his aptitude, like DBDA, David's battery of differential aptitude, DBDA. So objective based of any test means, as I mentioned, one is standardized. Standardized means we are discussing the key features of any personality. One is standardization. Second is objective measurement. Personality inventories provide objective measurement of personality trait. The response are quantified, allowing a statistical analysis. So that is later on stages. As I mentioned, first of all, administering the test. It may be personality test, it may be any other test. First part is administering the test. Second is scoring. Third is analysis, or you can say interpretation. Final is conclusions. Already you have done your practical sessions in your first and secondary post gradation. So objective, then trait based already mentioned. Multiple time personality inventories often measured multiple personality dimensions. Multiple personality dimensions, as I mentioned, the cluster A, there are some dimensions. In cluster B, some dimensions. In cluster C, some dimensions. Like in cluster B, impulsivity, one dimension. Sociability, up to social interaction is another dimension. Okay. So these multiple dimensions mean in personality inventories, we need to measure multiple dimensions in the personality of any individual. Next one is psychometric perspective, or you can say psychometric personality. Personality inventories are rigorously tested for their psychometric perspective, or you can say properties, including reliability, as I mentioned, validity, and reliability refers to the, we know that. What is reliability? There are some definitions of reliability and validity. Reliability means consistency of measurement. Consistency of measurement means, again, there are some types of reliability. Reliability means test and retest method. Second is split half method. Test retest method means if you test the person or any individual in any personality inventory by using any personality inventories, the same test is administered by other professional. The score should be same. That is test retest method or test retest type of reliability. Second is split half type of, or split half method of reliability. Split half means split half. For example, 20 items are there in the test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. 20 items. 20 items means questions, because it is a paper. For example, it is a paper pencil test. 20 items are there in the tool or test. Split half means we need to split the test like into halves. Third question, fifth question, all the questions having the base number, odd number, like one first item, third item, fifth item, seventh item, ninth item, 11th item, and so on. Means 10 test items, one half. Base numbers of the test, like second question, fourth question, sixth question, eighth question, even numbers question having even numbers. So total 20 items questionnaire, total 20 items test, we are dividing into the two half, that is known as a split half. Then again administer the test, first half test and second half test. If you club this both, the score should be same. That means consistency in measuring the test. So reliability means consistency in measurement. Maybe test retest, split half, the scorer may be different. Test is in the various situations. Scorer may be different. So here, consistency in the scores, consistency in the measurement is related to the reliability. Then validity. Validity means the test, what we intended to test. If you test that only, means if you are building, your intention is to test his attitude. So we need to test attitude only in that particular tool. Whatever we intended to test, that only if you test, that only if you assess, that is known as the validity. So reliability means consistency in the measurement. Validity means how well the inventory measure, how you are intended to measure, what we are intended to measure, that only if you test, that only if you assess, that is known as the valid test. Your intention is to test their intellectual aspect, but your test items are not related. Some test items are not related to the intellectual aspects. So the test is not valid, it is invalid test. The total test items in your tool to be related to whatever you are intended to test. Okay, so here these are all the some key principles or key features of personality inventories. Norms. Norms also one important key feature. Norms means there are some norms of inventories. Like personal inventories are often norms on large sample to establish comparison of the data for a specific population. Norms help interpret individual scores related to the general population. Norms. So you will keep some norms before administering any test, before using any tool. The other last feature of this personality inventories, applications. Personal inventories have various applications in clinical, counseling, organizational, and research settings. Whatever your conclusions, those conclusions, as I mentioned, there are some steps in using any test, administering any test. First one is administration of that particular test, or you can say it's a conducting of the test. Second is scoring. Third is analysis.
Interpretation. Okay.
Or you can say interpretation. Find is, and last one is, fourth one is conclusions. Of course, last one is the application. How we are applying those test results in various settings. As I mentioned, now it is application. Personality inventories have various applications. These inventories, the personal inventories, the application of this personality inventories in clinics, or you can say clinical aspects, clinical setups. Number one. Number two, counseling setups, or you can say counseling procedures. Third one is any organization. For example, in some software organization, software setups, if they find any problem with the employees there or professionals there, what will they do? They will report to the HR. The HR will call the psychological professionals to administer some, or you can say for counseling purpose. They don't say any test. They will, because we don't have that much of knowledge about these personal inventories. So just they'll call the psychological professionals to intervening the person, to give some sort of interventions. So that is our role, to use suitable inventories. So in organized setups also, these personality inventories is applicable or used. And the other important application is in research settings, research procedures. They are used for personality assessment, even career counseling, selection procedures, and psychological research organizations. These are all various features of personality inventories. I repeat, one is standardization, second is objective measurement, third is trait-based approach, fourth one is multiple dimensions, fifth one is psychometric properties, sixth one is norms. We have to follow some norms when we are taking the data. Okay, then applications. Some examples of personality inventories. One is Neo personality inventory. One example of inventory. 16 personality factor questionnaire. 16 PF. In the 16 PF, what is 16 PF? 16 personality factors will be there in the tool, that is personality inventory. Okay. Then Minnesota multiple personality inventory. This is another important personality inventory. As I mentioned, even IPD also. It is not generally it is generally this IPD is only in the clinical sector. Okay. So some advantages of personal. Just I mentioned the key principles of personality inventories, exams of personality inventories. Then what are the advantages of personality inventories? Personality inventories are standardized. That is consisting of administration. It is easy to administer the test. Okay. Most of the personality tests are paper pencil test. And personality inventories provide proper data or quantifiable data, quantified data, allowing for numerical scores and statistical analysis. Because it is full-fledged quantitative measures, quantitative data will be provided through this personality inventories. Statistical analysis also, it is easy to do the statistical analysis. In the statistical analysis also, we know there are different type of statistical analysis. Some are the measures of central tendency, some statistical analysis related to the measures of deviations. Measures of central tendency means, what are the measures of central tendency? Anyone? Measures of central tendency means
Mean, median, modes
the
by using
median and mode. Measures of deviation? Measures of deviation means quartile deviation, standard deviation, mean deviation. Measures of central tendency will provide you overall tendency of the data. Same way, the measures of deviation like quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation, these scores will provide you how the scores are scattered, how the scores are deviated from the central tendency. The deviation may be positive deviation, you know, NPC, normal, probability, curve. That is bell-shaped curve. These standard deviations give you how the scores are deviated. That may be positive deviation, or you can say right side deviation or the negative deviation. Another one, if your factors are some sort of 2 or 3, like dependent variables, independent variables, intervening variables. Based on the variables, another statistical analysis, one way ANOVA and two way ANOVA. These are all related to the statistical analysis. Okay, here the personality inventories are valuable tools in psychological research, as I mentioned. In clinical setups, personality inventories like MMPI can assist the diagnosing of the diagnosize the person, diagnose the individuals, like psychopathology, and identify if there is any psychopathological case, any psychological disorders, any personality disorder. It is easy to identify these personality disorder. They help clinicians assess a wide range of psychological symptoms and traits. As I mentioned in IPD test also, what are the symptoms of a particular person, whether it is cluster A personality symptoms, cluster B personality symptoms, cluster C personality traits that can be easily assessed in this through these personality inventories. As I mentioned, personality tests, some tests are, it is time-taking tests, but these are all the standardized tests that can be utilized, used in any clinical setups. Why it is time-taking process means, for example, as we have some projective tests, some are the non-projective tests. In projective tests, if you use the at least RIBT, Rorschach ink blot test, the test administration itself is a lengthy process. It will take minimum of 1 hour to 1.5 hour time to just administer the test. Then after that, scoring. How many of you know about this RIBT? Or any projective test like RIBT, TAT,
TAT is
CAT?
thematic perception test, and RIBT is Rorschach ink blot test. So,
RIBT is Rorschach ink blot test.
Sir, we take some ink. If
Yeah,
I'm sorry, if I'm wrong, you have to sprinkle on the white paper or thing. By seeing that shape of that, you have to imagine what is the what image you can see based on the sprinkling on the that ink on the paper.
Yeah.
So by seeing that shape of the ink, what you are seen in that picture. So based on that, personality is
Good, nice. So here 10 cards will be shown to the client. 10 cards in RIBT, Rorschach ink blot test, 10 cards. We'll show the 10 cards to the client, the patient. We will ask what you are observing that particular card. Okay. That is whether they are their perception.
based on the problem they have or their perception, based on their perception, we can imagine what type of uh, feelings are going on in their mind.
Yes. So, okay, feelings and emotions are in thematic abstraction test. Here in this case, in the particular diagram, or you can say it's ink blot, whether they are seeing whole part, or if they are observing the whole part, means their mindset is integrated mindset. Just like an example I'm giving. See, overall part, some clients, some patients, they are having some psychological issues, they won't see the whole part, only the small particular part only they'll see in overall picture. How their perception, how they are perceiving the picture, the card, the ink blot, whether overall they are observing or only detailed part, one part of that divisional part, divided part of that particular picture, how they are observing, how their perception, that is in the ink blot. Whereas in that particular, you are talking about the emotions. In other tests, we have TAT, thematic abstraction test. In that 30 cards will be shown. 30 cards. In the 30 cards, some cards are having some sceneries, some situations. Those cards we show to the client. We will ask the client, what is your observation in that card? So that situation, they need to explain and they need to tell some theme. The test name itself is a thematic apperception test, TAT. The theme they need to explain. In that picture, maybe some is uh, some type of pictures related to the situation, some pictures related to the this family environment, some pictures may be related to some type of these incidents there happening. So by seeing, by observing, by perceiving those incidents, they need to tell, they need to explain some story. In that story, what is the main role of the particular person? What are the other roles of that these persons? Those are seeing that particular picture. They need to tell who is the hero, heroine, what are the other roles in that scenery or picture or incident, they need to explain. Okay, depends on their perception, depends on their observation. We will assess the whether they are having any emotional disturbances, their thought process, their perception, their attitude. These are all various personality factors we will assess in those pictures. That is TAT. Another important thing is that CAT. CAT almost are same, but it is related to the children. Child apperception test. Children apperception test.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, is there any standard answer for that?
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay. Even for the TAT also?
Yeah, everything. In manual, it is mentioned. So any test will have manual, no?
Okay.
Any
Yeah.
test, maybe any test, it may personality or any other manuals will be given.
Sir. Okay.
Yeah. So that manual, it gives the actual, what is the actual response they are supposed to give. Okay.
Okay.
If they give the other type of answers also, other type of response also, based on their response. For example, I'll explain RIBT, rose-shaping blood. W means how many W's are there? W means the whole part, whether they are observing the whole part of the picture or not. Number of W's. Okay. Number of D's. Okay. Number of this means detailed parts. Some these clients only a small only one corner of the picture. Only they'll observe in the corner of the picture, but they won't bother about the overall picture, overall card, overall situation, detailed part. That means D's. Number of W's, number of D's. Some clients they won't bother about the actual picture, the gap between one picture or other picture. They will focus on the gap only. Space. The space between one part of the picture to other part of the space only. The focus is only on the space. Clear? That is how many number of S, number of D's, number of W's, number of small D's.
So for that we will be having a standard answer. But what about the like pictures? I mean, in a card we'll show some picture, no? For
Yes.
that picture, like one boy or one girl is there in that card. For that also we'll be having standard answer.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
For example, I'll give one example.
But this
For
the standard
example,
answer.
in the picture of TAT, though the person in the picture is happy, but the client's perception is that he is crying. He may tell that the quarrel between both of those persons without showing in the picture. I think you are able to understand. The picture is a normal picture, but the client inner perception is somehow it's different.